Okay, this is a video demonstration for Facey Medical for the ophthalmology clinic. Everything really kicks off with a chart up signal, which you also have on your EMR package, but some people like to duplicate this. To indicate a patient has arrived, we put buttons at reception. One press of the button is one patient. You see it's monitored somewhere. Second press of a button is a blinking light, which is two patients. Third press is three patients have checked in. When a technician or if someone that's going to room the patient picks up the patient, we'd like them to double tap the switch, which will increment it to slow blink, meaning two patients. They pick up the next patient, go to steady on, which is one patient. Now no patients. As the tech brings the patient into the room, this is a typical outside room panel, typical inside room panel. When a tech goes into a room, we like them to press their button one time so it's steady on, and that tells you there's a tech in the room doing something. When the patient's worked up and ready to be seen, the tech will turn their color off and then press the doctor's color one time. In your case, we've grouped, since you have pods of rooms, we've grouped all the doctors on the same color, and we'll program the system in pods where each group of rooms for the doctor's sequencing end of the system operates independently of the others. So that's patient number one. We'll do patient number two, patient number three. The slow blink light is where the provider goes first. Some people take the option of putting a patient ready light in the provider's office that tells the provider that they've got at least X number of patients waiting. Here you'll see it blinks three times and pauses, telling the doctor that there's three patients ready to be seen in that doctor's group of exam rooms. As the doctor enters the exam room hallway, we will assume that the doctor knows what pod they're working for that session. They look for the blinking red light on the outside room panel. They press the switch as they go in. That indicates by changing the light from a slow to fast blink that the doctor's in the room with the patient. Next room to go to, which happens to be room one, went from steady on to slow blink. Room three, the doctor's third patient, remains steady on, which is the third patient in the doctor's queue. As the doctor finishes up with the patient, they'll turn the light off. Then the next room to go to is slow blink. So the doctor will repeat the same thing as they enter and leave the room. And now the doctor's logged into room one, and room three would be next. At this point, I'd like to add a call for assistance. Doctor needs help from a technician. We have a couple of options. The doctor can always, or will always, double press the light, which set off a tone and a blinking light on the master panel, and on what we call a sub-master panel, where you just monitor specific colors along with and without tones. So the system toned, the blinking light tells the technician where they're needed, and the tone, of course, gets their attention. As the tech enters the room, they'll press the yellow button one time. It goes to steady on. That way everyone else in the clinic knows the doctor's call for assistance has been answered. And as the encounter is finished and the tech leaves the room, they'll turn their light off. The doctor leaves, turns their light off, and then the doctor moves on to the next patient, which is room three. This panel over here, again, is what we call a sub-master panel. And I know in your project you requested 9 master panels. This is one of the things I wanted to point out. We can pick up specific colors and or individual colors and just monitor them where they need to be monitored. For instance, if you have a nurse's or a technician station and you just want them to monitor the call for assist, it will be X number of yellow lights, if you will, monitoring a specific group of rooms with an audible tone and a blinking light telling the tech where they're needed. Let's take the call for assist one step further. Now we're going to assume there's a tech in room 2 and 1. The doctor's in room 3. The doctor's going to double tap the switch. Here it found both technicians, but we don't want 2 technicians to answer one provider call. Whatever technician answers the call first, they press their light, it goes off. The second technician the system found in our example went from steady on, from blinking to steady on, which tells the tech in room 1 who was found also that a different technician is handling the doctor's call, so they don't have to stop what they're doing. And this way only one tech arrives at the requested room. Again, the requested room is the blinking yellow. They press the button as they go in, and it goes to steady on. So again, everyone knows that the call for assistance has been answered. That's basically how the system would work in your scenario, as I understand it. Other things that we have a middle light here, which is a green, where if you drop patients and leave them in the room to dilate, I can make that a dilation timer color. We have two options with that. Option one, you can press it up to 3 times. Each button press is a predetermined increment of minutes. When it counts down to 0, it'll go from steady on to blink. Option 2, when it counts down to 0, it'll go from steady on to blink. We can also automatically pop the patient next in the doctor's queue. This is a sample of a master panel, a small one. Yours would be larger, of course. You notice this master panel has square push buttons versus a submaster that has round monitor lights. The reason I wanted to point this out is because with a push button master panel, that makes the system programmable, and it gives you as much flexibility as we can, where you can reassign pods whenever you need to if doctors are going to work a different group of rooms. And when I say different group, I don't mean just a different 3-room group. I mean Monday, Wednesday you might have room 1, 2, 3 as a group, 4, 5, 6. But on Tuesday it might be 3, 4, 5. Well, you need to adapt the system to the doctors in different scenarios, and that's how we do that. This panel over here is used for paging. We have 2 kinds of paging. One is via that panel, which is our keypad. With a keypad, you can page patients, you can page staff, whoever's carrying a pager. The system can handle up to 99 pagers. The added option with the keypads is adding numeric messaging and text messaging to the system. On the text side, you have up to 20 pre-programmed text messages, and you would assign them a speed dial number. As you enter an individual or group's pager number and attach a message, those pagers will go off when the message is sent. It'll tell the recipients where they're needed by room number and why if you've attached a message. You can also just page a person or group by just entering their pager number. We also have paging via the lighted switches. What you lose there is you don't have the numeric and or text messaging. When you press a lighted switch that's attached to a pager, it'll tell the recipient and or group what room they're needed in, and that is all. When the person arrives at the room, they can press that same pager button a second time, which would send out a second page to everyone in a group with a 00 code, which tells the rest of the group that the call's been answered. That's a pretty good example of what I wanted to present. I'm sure we'll discuss other things in our conference call. I thank you all for your time.